Guys, what's going on? This is RJ Game News USA here, and today I promise I'm not going to rant, I'm not going to rave like I have before about The Last of Us TV show. We've been there, done that. But today I just want to go over top 10 reasons The Last of Us TV show failed. Flat out failed. It went from huge success story to total and absolute failure. So if you like this kind of content, please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Let's jump right into it. So number 10 on the list, the violence is toned down. The game was much more violent than the TV show is portrayed. Just is. Number 9. The first game only got one season. You know, I really felt like that first game, everything in this show does feel rushed in so many ways. And in other ways, stretched out. But in the situation of the first game being adapted, it only got one season. That easily could have been 2 seasons. Or you could have even showed what happened during the 5-year gap. You could have made up stories during that 5-year gap and had a whole season involving that. Instead, they rushed headlong into adapting the second game, which you're going to see was clearly a mistake. Number 8 on the list. And this is not the biggest one for me, but it still is true. The game pushed a woke agenda. Whether you're talking about that one episode early in season 1 with the gay couple, or whether you're talking about the different sights they shown and the rainbow on the side of a building. And we know Neil Druckmann's the director and he pushes that agenda as well. This game clearly pushed a woke agenda, which is always going to splinter your audience. So whether or not you agree with it or not, it's going to hurt the show with at least half your audience. It's something that by now you think companies would be a little conscious of. That alone would not ruin it for me. But piggybacking off of that, number 7 was pretty bad. It was one of the most cringe one-liners of all time. And that is Ellie saying she's going to be a dad. Not only biologically is that wrong, and it's also just a really lame joke, if it's even supposed to be a joke. I don't know if it's supposed to be serious or not. But that's also not what she said in the game. That's also not how she acted in the game when she found out Dina was pregnant. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with a lesbian relationship in a game. Or a gay relationship. But how they presented this here, it's not it. Number 6, and this is sort of piggybacking off of towards the beginning of the video, the second game got stretched out. It's getting stretched out. I mean, I would understand if the first game was the first season and the second game was the second season. Maybe they made changes and adjusted things and lengthened things because of the success of the first season. But guys, you had to have known what was coming, and you weren't going to replicate what happened in season 1. So now you're kind of stuck with this failing show, and now you got to do this, piggybacking off of that. Number 5 is season 3 is going to be all about Abby. This is a wild idea, a wildly dumb idea. So first of all, in the second game, they would go back and forth between Abby and Ellie. Okay? You're telling me that season 3 is going to be all about Abby. Let me lay it out for you guys. Because it was true in the game, and it's going to be true in the show. Nobody gives a shit about Abby. Nobody cares about her motivations. Nobody's ever going to back her or get behind her for what she did to Joel. I don't care what you do. And certainly, a whole season that's supposedly going to be about Abby is not the answer. Number 4. Ellie is not older or recasted. So there's supposed to be 5 years between The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2. And Ellie looks pretty much the same and acts pretty much the same. And that completely takes you out of what that gap's supposed to be. That goes back to what I said before about certain things being stretched out, but certain things being sped up as well. Not good. Number 3 on the list, Abby's not jacked. And I know that sounds like a strange one to have so high on the list, but considering she was able to off Joel with a golf club, and considering what she looked like in the game, you're telling me you couldn't find a single MMA-looking female actress to play Abby? Somebody that's a believable tank? You just couldn't do it? I mean, you're kind of missing the whole point of what this is about. And that's what brings me to number 2, which is Ellie is not serious. She's still always joking, despite the fact that Joel got killed. She's always goofing around, goofing off, making cringy, silly statements that would have been fine as a 14-year-old girl in season 1, in the lighter moments with Joel. But the whole premise of The Last of Us Part 2 is supposed to be anger, revenge, resentment. It's a dark game. It's a revenge-filled, resentful-filled game of anger. And they still want to keep this lightheartedness from season 1. You can't do it. Look, you changed so many things in season 2 than what was in the game. Even though you kept season 1 pretty faithful to what game 1 was. You changed so many things, yet you didn't do the one thing you should have changed. And that brings me to number 1 on the list, which is they killed Joel. It was a mistake in the game, and it's a mistake in the TV show. You had a chance to redo it. You had a chance to change it. You didn't change it. Instead, you changed a bunch of other shit that actually makes this worse than the game. The stuff I mentioned, like Abby not being jacked, and Ellie not being serious or older or recasted, or not changing the perspectives of the characters. You realize it's a TV show, right? And plenty of TV shows, you could change the perspectives of the characters as the episode goes on. You know that, right? Instead, none of that. They changed everything up from the game. A lot. But yet they kept the one thing in that they knew would tank the series. Or they should have known would tank the series. And that is killing Joel. Why couldn't you subvert the fans' expectations and Joel got out of it? Why couldn't you have a war between these factions where Abby's still trying to kill Joel? Where Abby's still trying to kill Ellie then, who maybe protects Joel? Maybe Joel is slightly crippled now. There were so many ways you could have went with this. Maybe Joel's brother took the brunt of it instead by accident. If you were going to subvert expectations, if you were going to change one goddamn thing about this universe, you would have kept Joel alive, because the show is Joel and Ellie. And when Joel died, this show might as well have died. But with that being said, guys, that is my top 10. Those are the reasons why The Last of Us TV show failed. I have no intention to probably ever talk about this shit again. And until next time, guys, I will see you later. Peace. I'm out. Have a good one. Comment below why you hate or like the TV show.